So I got some trivia for y'all. I typically don't do this, but I thought this was really interesting. What does chapter 924, 955, and 1057 have in common?
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
So Luffy's a character that we hold near and dear to our hearts, not only for his goal of becoming Pirate King, but also his goal of gaining the most freedom. And what gives you the most freedom than today's sponsor? Opera GX. So no other browser allows you to customize your experience as much as Opera GX does. You can pick some of our special themes, wallpapers, and colors, or prepare everything from scratch and pick colors you like the most. In addition to that, you can upload your own background photo. That's my personal favorite. And also, if you're in the middle of a long series or feature, it can be extremely helpful for you to separate videos from the browser into a floating adjustable video frame. Pretty cool, right? Now, you can watch streams or videos and work or study at the same time with this feature. It's really simple. Just click the button on the left, marked with the red circle on the photo while watching, and the windowed version of the video will follow you into each open tab. It works for Crunchyroll as well, right? Great for live reacting if you guys want to get into YouTube and stuff. Anyway, another great feature is that you can log into Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music directly from the sidebar in Opera GX. The player lets you keep your favorite streaming services in one place. So whenever you start streaming the video or audio in your browser tab, the player automatically pauses and then automatically resumes once the tab is finished. Now, I know bookmarks and what about my cookies? It's always about cookies over here. That's no problem because with Opera GX's quick import tool, you can import all of your browsing history, bookmarks, and cookies from your old browser in just a few clicks. So guys, no gamer should be without the Opera GX browser. Twitch and Discord integration is amazing, award-winning design, and a built-in VPN, all completely free. So guys, click the link below and download Opera GX today. If y'all figure it out, let me know what you think. And again, you can't look it up. If you do, you're cheating. That don't count. If you don't know what they have in common, let me know your answer below. I'll reveal the answer at the end because it all ties together, okay? If you don't know, then you gotta sub to the channel, right? You gotta sub and you gotta like. If you do know, either way, you gotta do all that, but you gotta do it twice. You feel me? Anyway, big question everybody's asking, right? And when I say everybody, I mean everybody, right? I went to the store, right? I went to Chick-fil-A. You know, you pull up to Chick-fil-A, they're like, yo, what's your order? What do you want? And I was like, yo, I want a milkshake. And randomly, this person just said to me, it was like, yo, B.D.A. I was like, whoa, what the hell are you talking about? I said, yo, B.D.A., we think the straw has to go in next. I'm like, first off, can I get a discount on this milkshake? You know what I'm saying? All right. I don't know. Y'all can tell me if y'all think that story is real or not. Either way, but seriously, people are asking, where do you think the straw has to go? And that's a question I had myself. So I started doing a little research and I got some things I want to break down to y'all because I think this is kind of crazy where Oda's going with this, if I think this is where he's going, okay? And we may get into some prediction territory, but this is more so based off of somewhat factual, canonical information. Y'all saw us struggle with canonical last week, nigga. I'm on point this week. What are you talking about? So where we start? Where are the Straw Hats going after this? We got to go back to chapter 1056. We have the meeting with Kid, Law, and Luffy, right? And now we're talking about where they're going to go. The log poles and the needles are fixed in 3 directions. That's what they said, northeast, east, and southeast. And again, based on where we are in Wano, it was hard to discern exactly where they were going. But there's information out there where it can tell you, or somewhat telling you, where Law, Luffy, and Kid should end up. So again, based on the chapter, Luffy and Kid both chose the same part, right? East, the middle one. Law said northeast. So you're like, Brago, where did you get this information? So there's a bunch of stuff out there, but the main thing is this map. It's a map from One Piece Rurubu magazine. It's R-U-R-U-B-U, Rurubu. And again, shout out to the Library of Ohara. He's noting that the map is not canonically one-to-one accurate in terms of geographical position, island size, and other factors. It's to give a general idea of the journey of the Straw Hats. So based off of this map, if we're looking at Wano, based on what they're saying, we have 3 islands. 3 islands there are Elbaf, Hachinosu, and Sphinx. You're like, okay, I know Elbaf. What's Hachinosu and Sphinx? So I'm gonna break it down. Elbaf, we know Elbaf, the island of the giants. Hachinosu, that's Blackbeard's island. Full of that. It's a pirate paradise, Pirate Island's beehive, and that's where Blackbeard should be. Sphinx is the island where Whitebeard was born, and more than likely where Ace is buried, or somewhere close to it, because when we saw the island that Marco and Shanks were, when we saw Whitebeard and Ace's tombstones, it's set in the far-off land in the New World. We're not sure, could be Sphinx, but more than likely it's really close to Sphinx, where I think the distance would be negligible. Remember back then in Marineford, Shanks said, yo, let me take care of their burial. And for instance, if Shanks, as many people expect, is in control or has territory over Elbaf, him going to Sphinx, which is pretty much close by, makes a lot of sense. Here's the thing, let's do this here. Because what always happens is, I'm like, yo, Shanks, people are saying Shanks has connections to Elbaf, and I never really get into it. Let's quickly get into why Shanks and Elbaf could be connected. So first, the Vikings theme, right? We know of Norse mythology and the giants of One Piece, it seems like they're inspired by that and the Vikings and that mythology. Shanks in particular, his inspiration have been said to come from two different people. One is Calico Rackham Jack, and that's based off of his Jolly Roger. And then there's somebody else, and that's Eric the Red, the Norwegian Viking. And then we look at Shanks' ship. The Viking ship, they're called Drakars, right? That's the bow with the shape of a dragon. If you look at the Red Force, that's exactly what it looks like. And then the major connection people draw is when you look at Shanks' ship and his Jolly Roger, then you look at the original Giants crew talked to us by Dorian Brogy, look at their flag and it looks just like Shanks' Jolly Roger. So the connections are all there, which points to Shanks being somewhat involved or could be ruling over the territory of Elbaf. And then there's also the connection about Usopp and him having a major moment in Elbaf and how his dad, Yasopp, his connection to Shanks, all that's there as well. And a lot of people do predict that that's where Usopp will actually meet Yasopp in Elbaf, because Yasopp, for the most part, being a dad has been a fable to him. That's off the top, I promise. So there, those are some of the connections with Shanks to Elbaf. I hope I've convinced you. If you're not convinced, then it's up to the channel so I can have more time to convince you. No, Shane. All right, anyway, back to the islands. Elbaf, Hachinosu, or Fuloled, and Sphinx. So based on the map, right, the Ruburu, and how it lays things out, it seems like Law is the one headed to Elbaf. Luffy goes to Sphinx, and Kid goes to Hachinosu. Now, why does this make sense? Well, first off, Law goes to Elbaf, more than likely he'll get captured or something will go wrong because his crew is trash, complete and utter dog shit. So basically, Law will be waiting in Elbaf for Luffy and the others. Yes, a Law and Luffy reunion. Yay. Sphinx, here's a fun fact. Luffy and Marco did not interact the entirety of Wano at all. We have no interactions between Luffy and Marco. So what is Oda waiting for? Oh, ding, 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 ding. He's waiting for Luffy and Marco to meet up again in Sphinx and reminisce and talk about Ace, visit his gravesite, visit Whitebeard's gravesite. And so he's saving that moment for Sphinx. But I think the most important one is Hachinosu. Why is Kid going to Hachinosu? Okay, guys, Oda said before that he thought most of the supernova would be dead by the time the New World would begin, right? He had plans to wipe them out. I was going back and researching so many different things, and I went back to things Kid was saying. We go back to chapter 594, when Kid was talking about the new era, saying the era of Whitebeard is over. And this is after Luffy rang the bell. And he's saying, is Luffy trying to claim this era as his own? He commented on Blackbeard, but something Kid said, it resonated. He said, if you're not prepared to die, don't come to these waters. And with him talking about Blackbeard in the past, it made me think of something. Kid has interacted with the Big Mom. He's interacted with Shanks, and he's interacted with Kaido. The only Yonko that Kid has not interacted with is Blackbeard. So Kid more than likely will stumble upon Blackbeard in Hachinosu. Maybe. There's a caveat. But then I think about Luffy. He's interacted with Blackbeard, interacted with Big Mom, interacted with Kaido, obviously. The only pirate he hasn't interacted with while he's been a pirate has been Shanks. So then he meets Shanks in Elbaf. Here's the thing though, and why Kid could get off easy, and it could go either way. Blackbeard is on the move currently to capture something. So Blackbeard more than likely probably will not be at Hachinosu, but he'll have people there. But if Blackbeard is there, that'd be an amazing way to somewhat get Kid out of the story, or have it so that he has another interaction with the Yonko, and Kid could actually die. The reason why I'm starting to believe more in deaths coming is because we're in the final saga, the final arc, final saga of the story. It's the Throne Wars. And I think it'd be a perfect way to wipe out a Yonko candidate. If Blackbeard does it, his bounty goes up. Maybe his bounty's already risen, but I think he kills so many birds with one stone. For Luffy, going to Sphinx, he gets to visit Ace's grave and also Whitebeard's, and they finally have that moment where they can talk about the future and what's transpired. For Law, you go to Elbaf and you basically just wait for the Straw Hats, right? Because after that, maybe we stumble upon Vita, but then we have Lodestar, which I think they will traverse to. I feel a lot more strongly about that after the special with Luffy and the past and seeing what Luffy cares about. He wants to see the world. Him not going to Lodestar, it just doesn't make sense. He will go to Lodestar. So I also went back and I was thinking, like, when was the last time we did not know where we were going? And I went all the way back to Water 7, right? Do you guys remember Water 7? Of course you do. One of the best arcs in the story. Somebody say the best. After Water 7, after Enies Lobby, I should say specifically. After Garp leaves, after Aokiji leaves, we're talking to Kokoro. And they're like, okay, where's next? Because the log pose had finally cleared up. And she said, do you know where that log pose is gonna take you? Bill's like, well, no. She said, well, the next island is Fishman Island. They were saying after Enies Lobby, the goal was Fishman Island. But then she said, wait, there's a Florian Triangle where ships have been known to disappear. So we know something was going to go on there. Did not expect Thriller Bark. So we had an idea of what was coming, but we weren't sure. And it's somewhat the similar thing where we know we're going to one of those islands, Hachinosu, Sphinx, or even Elbaf, where again, it's not exact. It's really just a general idea. So for all intents and purposes, Oda could just send Luffy to Elbaf, send Law to Sphinx, and send Kid to Hachinosu. I'll just mix it up if he wants to. So I think this is very similar to Post Enies Lobby. Either way, guys, this is one of the more exciting times because in chapter 435 as well, after they talked about the next island they're going to, guess what was coming? Guess what came next? Bounties, right? That's when the bounties were revealed. And typically the bounty is revealed after the arc while they're sailing. So next chapter, that's when I said we're going to get into prediction territory a little bit. It would not surprise me if we got some of the Straw Hats bounties because we already got Luffy's. Typically we get Luffy's, right? We haven't gotten the others. So we probably get the other bounties next chapter. And then we may get a good idea of where we're going. But here's a caveat. We talk about Vera, right? And just like with Thriller Bark and the next island being Fishman Island, all the way back after Enies Lobby, Oda could throw a wrinkle in there. In the Road to Laugh Tale Volume 1, those are the volumes that came out while One Piece was on break for a month. I know, it was hectic. There was a question about where's the final red stone. And again, there's no way to really tell if this is specifically from Oda's mouth, but it was supervised and approved at least by Oda's team. The 3 islands they mentioned were Elbaf, the land of the giants, Vera, the once sunny town plagued by coups, meaning coup d'etats, Blackbeard's base, the pirate island Fulalead, which is Hachinosu. Funny enough, 2 out of the 3 are islands we're on the way to, we could possibly go to, where to be honest, I think this is crazy to think Whitebeard or Ace is buried on Vera, but it makes me think about the man with a burned scar, where is it really Sabo? Are we looking too much into this, assuming it's other people? Because why would Vera, and Vera is somewhere that was associated with the revolutionaries, that's why I'm bringing that up, but it's a very important island, I'll just say that. And again, I tried looking on the map to figure out where Vera could be, no idea. He could throw Vera right after Wano Kuni, where they go to Vera, and that could be a stopgap before they get to wherever they're going to. There's so many possibilities, but I think those 3 islands are going to be so important for these Supernova, these Yonko candidates, Yonko, Luffy, and then these other Yonko candidates for the most part, Kid and Law, but I think one of them might die. It just seems too perfect to kind of establish Blackbeard as a threat again, but they could get off. Blackbeard could just not be in Lodestar because he was just talking in chapter 955, or rather chapter 956, that he's about to go somewhere. Trivia. Yeah, I took this long so you guys would stick around, but what do these 3 chapters have in common? Well, chapter 924, chapter 955, and chapter 1057, that's the end of all 3 acts in the Wano arc. But here's a cool fact, the map you guys stuck around for. After chapter 924 and chapter 925, we saw Blackbeard. After chapter 955 and chapter 956, we saw Blackbeard. So now after chapter 1057 and chapter 1058, hey man, I think you know where I'm going with it. But guys, give me your thoughts. The most exciting time, I think, in One Piece is going to a new island. We're like the Straw Hats, traversing the world, and like you said, it's not about the destination necessarily, it's about the journey. But this time, destination is important, because if Luffy goes to Elbaf, we expect some Usopp stuff, Shanks stuff. He goes to Hachinosu, that could be scary because that's endgame stuff, because that's Blackbeard's territory. If he goes to Sphinx, a lot more sentimental, okay? Where I expect him to go to Elbaf and Hachinosu eventually, which would make a lot of sense if he goes there after Elbaf, after he meets Shanks, and then he goes there, Blackbeard's not there, Shanks fights Blackbeard, and all of a sudden it's like this entire thing. However, this is major stuff. So guys, give me your thoughts, right? How do you feel about it all? What is your excitement levels for One Piece chapter 1058 and beyond? I know 1057 but I'm still excited for the entirety of the series. I mean, one hiccup ain't gonna stop this burp. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea what it means. But guys, I'll catch y'all next time, man. Just be safe.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.
Also, one last thing. Do you see how close Elbaf is to Hachinosu? Like, if Shanks is really over Elbaf and Blackbeard is really over Fulalead, like, that's confirmed. This Blackbeard and Shanks altercation is inevitable. It is coming, boys and girls. And I'm talking about Blackbeard and Shanks, that interaction. Bro, they damn near neighbors. Not really, but I'm saying, Oda, bruh.